We are going to begin our color mixing activity. So you need the paper that you made in the last video, some clean water in a cup or a mug or a bowl or even an empty peanut butter jar. Just make sure it's really clean. Your paints and a plate. It can be a real plate or a paper plate. It doesn't matter. The paper plate will get soggy after a while, but that's okay. You can throw it away and get another one. So, you have a paintbrush in your set. I'm your paintbrush. Has a little plastic cover on it. You can take that off. You can save it if you want or throw it away. And then you also have this brush. This really, really, really nice brush. It's a little bigger bristle. Let's see, where can you see that? Like that. Then the one with the white handle is a little bigger bristle. We're going to start by just using this one because when you're mixing colors, it's a little bit hard on the brush. So we don't want to hurt our really, really, really nice brush. Pet your brush, tell it, oh, nice brush. Oh, okay, put it over here and let it rest. Both these brushes are stiff when you first get them. They have some gluey sort of stuff on them to protect them. So take it to the sink and soften it up. I'm going to go do that right now. That only took a few seconds of rinsing at the sink. I also got another very important watercolor artist's tool while I was over there, the paper towel. You will need a paper towel or a napkin, or you can even use an old washcloth or a sponge. Something clean, though, not a sponge that's got grease all over it from cleaning the kitchen yesterday. So what we're going to do first, we're going to put a drop of water. I'm going to move the plate out of the way. Just kind of get these paints ready to go. I'm going to put a couple of drops of water on each color and let them soften up for a few minutes. These are what's called semi-moist. So they're not hard like some of the ones we've used where you have to scrub and scrub and scrub at them. But it helps to soften them up a little bit by putting a couple drops of water in each of them. So you can see the water that's sitting in there. You can see it really well in the green one. Just to help it soften up a little bit. Then we're going to be using the chart to mix colors. So in this first square, we're going to mix red with red. Oh, that's pretty easy. Red with red makes red. In the next square here, we're going to mix red with orange. So all these down here, we're going to mix with red. We're going to mix red with yellow. We're going to mix red with green. Oh, I wonder what that's going to make. Mix red with blue. Some of these you might know. Red with purple. Red with brown. That's weird. And red with black. So when I was doing this the other day for the first time, I discovered kind of a little trick. Oh, by the way, you can mix in this top of the box too. There's just not a lot of space there. So I'm going to be using a plate. So I discovered this little trick. If I made, how many times do I have to mix red with something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So I'm going to take my brush, and swizzle it around in here, get some nice red going. Woohoo! And then I'm going to make 7 little blobs of red on my plate. Each one of these will be a place where I'll get to mix another one of the colors with the red. So I don't have to keep washing my brush off and going back to the red. Because it bugs me to have to throw away the paint. Look at all that nice paint that's in the brush. I don't like to throw that away. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A little bit more water. 7 places where I'm going to mix something with my red. Okay, so we know that red with red makes red. So let's just fill in the block with the red with red. And you don't have to go all the way to the outside edges of the square. Just kind of fill it in with some nice good color. Okay, now wash your brush. When we wash your brush, you don't go mash, mash, mash on the bottom of the cup. You just shake it back and forth. If you want to get some of the water off, you can dab it off on the paper towel. So now we're going to pick up the orange. And we're going to mix the orange with the red. If we want to get a little more, it's okay to go back in there and get a little bit without washing your brush off every single time. So let's see what red with orange. Oh, it's a little bit more of an orangey sort of red. If I want a little more orange, maybe, to make it a little orangier. There's a red and orange together. Okay, wash the brush. No smashing. Make sure it's nice and clean by tapping it on your paper towel. If you see any color coming out in your paper towel, it's not clean yet. Let's pick up some yellow. Now, the thing with light colors, when you're mixing them with darker colors, which red is a lot darker than yellow, it's good to start with the yellow and then scoop up a little bit of red and put it in there. Because if you put the yellow into the red, you may not even notice you put anything. All right, so there's yellow mixed with red. I do hope that what I'm mixing on the plate is in the picture. It is. Hallelujah. All right, so there's yellow mixed with red. Could add a little more red. See if I get a little, yeah, there's more of a reddish yellow, huh? What are red and yellow together makes orange, right? But that doesn't look like quite like orange, but it's a kind of an interesting color. So let's see, maybe we'll be able to use that instead of orange, or in addition to orange, later. All right, so our next thing is red with green. Now this is going to be interesting. I'm going to check my brush. I don't have anything mixed in there. A little bit of water, pick up some green. What do you think red and green is going to make? Mud? Let's try it. Ooh, kind of a dark pine tree green. I think I'm going to get a little more red. Let's see what because I kind of overpowered it with a lot of green. Almost a gray, kind of a greenish color. Look at that. I'm going to teach you how to use that kind of a color later on in painting. In case you hadn't figured it out, later on we're going to mix, when we get to the green column, we're going to mix green with everything. We're going to do green with red again. So we'll try a different mix, because watch, if I put more red into this green, now I've got a kind of a grayish red instead of a gray or a green gray. So you have all kinds of choices of how much of each color you mix together. All right, so let's try blue with red. Okay, we kind of all know what that's going to be because we learned that in our younger days. Red and blue makes purple. Problem is, if it's not the right kind of red or right kind of blue, you won't get the purple you really, really want. But let's see what happens. That's kind of a purple. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Red with blue. It's kind of a dark purple. Now if I added more red to that, which I will have a chance to do over here when I do red with blue over here, but let's wait till later for that. But let's just see what would have happened if I put more red. Oh yeah, we've got a different kind of purple. So we have lots of variations of types of purple we can get. We'll come back to that later. I don't want to confuse you. Okay, now red with purple. So here's my red. I'm going to add some purple. Oops, too much purple. Purple's a darky color. So gosh, get some more red. Help bring that to more of a reddish kind of tone. So, oops, drip, drip, red. All right, there's whoa, I like that color. Red with purple, look at that. It's kind of a plum color. I think it's even prettier on the plate. And if you put a little more on there, dab it in there, you'll get what the light and the dark looks like, and it kind of blends together. So you can kind of get a sense of the light and dark versions. Okay, now red with brown. Okay, our red's starting to dry out over here and starting to run out a little bit. Kind of a puny little pile of red here. So I'm going to make a little more red. Make a little more red over here. If the paint dries out on here, you can still use these colors. You just get your brush wet and rub it in the little pile of paint that's dried, and it's just like getting paint out of there. Okay, so here's brown. Brown's a dark color, so I'm going to put it to the side, and then I'm going to mix it with the red and see what happens a little bit at a time. That's kind of an interesting color. Kind of a brownish red. Kind of the color of a barn or something. Color of a fox's fur. Let's pick up a little more. Put some dark over in the corner. Should have done this all along. So you can see kind of what different darknesses of the color do. I'm going to grab some more of this one over here and add it to this. It's kind of a darker version. You're seeing some of my future tricks here right now. So I take that brush, I get it wet, wipe most of the paint off of it, and then just wet this part. It lets it flow right in there. That's for a future lesson. Okay, now red with black. What do you think is going to happen? Red with black. How much black am I going to need? You're right, not much. Just a teeny, bit. Whoa. That sort of overwhelmed that red right there, didn't it? Yeah, we're going to try mixing black with all the colors, but I'll give you a little insider tip right now. You don't mix black with much of anything. The problem is, if you remember from our science class last year, the year before, the reason black looks black is because it absorbs all the colors of the spectrum. It sucks all the light into it and doesn't let it go. So mixing black with colors often makes kind of a dead color because the black kind of flattens it and sucks it up. All right, so I'm going to pause the video while I go wash off my plate. Let me warn you of something. Some colors will stay in certain plates, so make sure you have your mom's permission before you take a plate out of the cupboard, and don't use her nice plates. All right, let's go on. Well, I'll do orange with you, and then you'll do the rest of them by yourself. So now, let me put a little bit more water on the orange. Now I'm going to put 7 little blobs of orange on my plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 things to mix orange with. Now, if your water starts to get really dark, you can go get clean water, because the water, well, if it looks like this, isn't going to affect the colors. But if it gets super clogged up, gunked up with a lot of paint, you will start affecting your colors. Okay, so orange mixed with red. Okay, we already have orange mixed with red. Let's try to make a different looking color than that one. Let's try to make one that's more orange and less red. These colors are pretty close to each other, so we may not be able to get, orange and red are pretty much right next to each other color-wise. We may not be able to get much variation on this one. Those two look kind of the same. Let's do our trick of putting some extra paint up in one corner, because when there's more paint, you get a darker shade of the color. All right. Obviously, orange mixed with orange is orange. Duh. So orange mixed with orange is just orange. But it's good to have it there, just the straight orange, because now we can see that it's really different from those. Not a lot, but it is different, and different from that. Even though this is yellow and red, it didn't make the same kind of orange that the straight orange paint makes. If you get a puddle going, you can dry your brush off and kind of suck it up a little bit so that it doesn't flood over. Let's make this kind of dark. I guess that's as dark as it's going to get. All right, so now orange mixed with yellow. So we did red with yellow, but we haven't done orange with yellow yet. I'm going to dry off my brush a little bit. Not all the way, but I don't need a lot of extra water. Ooh, I like that. Orange mixed with yellow. It's very similar to that one, but I think it's prettier. This one looks kind of what they call grainy, which in some cases is nice. Add my extra. What I did just now is I went and picked up a bunch of paint in my brush. Now I'm tapping it, and the paint kind of comes off into the wet paint over here. So if you see, you can see and get closer. Those are similar, but this one has kind of some little red speckles in it, and this one's more yellow-orange. So next time I mix them, I might want to add more yellow, so I would get a really yellowy orange. Let me just show you that. So if I put a lot of yellow in here, so now I'm getting something that's closer to the yellow side instead of the orange side. So I'm going to do orange mixed with yellow, and I'm just going to put that right here just so I don't forget. You can do that if you want along with me. So I just wanted to see if I made it had more yellow paint in it and less orange paint, would I get a different color? And I do. Okay, let's keep on going down the orange line. Orange mixed with green. What do you think? I'm going to dab off the extra water on my brush. I don't want to flood. There's green, there's orange. Ooh, I get that dark kind of forest green again. I'm going to get some more orange. You know what? I think I'm going to leave that one actually, because my teacher always used to say, he called this poisonous green. You see how kind of fakey green that looks? But this looks like a real tree, or like a pine tree, or like the forest. So he often said, add some orange to your green and you'll get a really nice forest green. So you don't have to, just because trees are green doesn't mean you have to paint them with green straight out of the paint box. That's what we're trying to learn here. So while I'm here, you don't have to do this yet. You can come back to this, but I'm going to take more orange and see what happens if I let this be more on the orangey side instead of the greeny side. A little more. Oops, I got color in my orange. Okay, so we also have orange mixed with green right here. So this is making more of a orangey side, but not really. It's kind of a type of a brown. Suck up some more of this brown and put it on here, make this a little darker. So you see there's millions of different combinations of colors you can get out of these guys. So continuing down here, orange mixed with blue. Let me get my little bit more orange. Kind of running low over here. It looks a little dried out. Okay, a little bit of blue. Take the drip off the brush. Check for color. Good. Pick up some blue. Okay, blue's a dark, dark, dark color. It overwhelms things. So put it to the side and then just take your brush and mix it with the orange and see what you get. Kind of a grayish, purplish color. Ooh, whoops, I got a hair coming out. If your brush has a hair coming out of it, you can gently take it out with your fingernails. Don't ever cut your brush. Okay, so there's an interesting color. You get some more of it and make it kind of darker up here. That one looks like storm clouds. The underside of storm clouds, kind of that bluish gray color. Let's see what it would look like if it was more orange and less blue. Kind of a grayish sort of orange. So orange and blue also goes over here. So now if you would like to do it the way I'm doing it now, do both at the same time, that might make sense. But it also is kind of confusing. But if you want to do orange with blue and then orange with blue, you can do that. Or you can come back later, put the blobs of blue all on your plate and do the blue row. Whatever you like. I'm just not going to stick around to do the whole thing with you, so I want you to see what's happening. Okay, now we got orange with purple. I bet that's going to be nice. Again, purple's the dark, dark, dark color. So it's going to overwhelm the orange. So, let's just use the whole orange. Oh, it makes a nice warm purple. I'm going to get a little bit more orange though, because I think I've still had too much purple. And this is your choice. You can do this playing around with colors. Orange with purple. Okay, that makes us sort of similar to that one. But I don't like it as well. I'm going to add some more purple. Oops, I had purple. So I didn't really like that color, so I'm going to kind of go over the top of it. So that makes a very similar color to the red with purple, but it's going to be a little warmer probably because the orange has some yellow in it, like that. All right, orange with brown. Okay, brown is also a very dark color, so just take this time, just take a little tip of brown on your brush and mix it with your orange. Oops, mine got dry. Get some more water. Oh, that's kind of an interesting color. Orange with brown makes kind of a reddish brown. Kind of a, I don't know what you call that color. Man, it's interesting. Let's take a little bit more orange. All right, and then orange with black. I have kind of a skimpy pile of orange here, and I know black is super dark, so it's going to overtake my orange. So I'm just going to get a tiny tip. See that little tip? Not very much. Mix it with the black, with the orange, and I get kind of another kind of a brownish sort of color. There is one mixture with black, I believe, we'll see when we get there, that makes kind of an interesting thing, and that's yellow with black. It makes kind of an army green color. So you're going to do the rest of the chart just like this. But let's try yellow with black just to see, because I haven't done yellow with black in a long time. So there's yellow. I'm not even going to wash off my brush, because I know that the yellow's not going to show. I'm just going to take a tip of black and put it with the green, or with the yellow. Yeah, it makes kind of a, whoa. So this is yellow with black, makes kind of an army green color. Yeah, but it has that black in it, and so it will tend to be kind of a deadened color. Not as pretty as another way you might try to make army green. So there's your army green color. All right. So you go ahead and you finish this chart. So if you want to do it the straightforward way, put 7 little things of yellow on your plate and mix yellow with red, yellow with orange. Yellow with yellow, I think I know what that's going to be. Yellow with green, yellow with blue. And then do 7 little dots of green and do the same thing. Green with red, green with orange, green with yellow. And so you'll have the red with red, orange with orange, yellow with yellow, green with green, blue with blue, purple with purple, brown with brown, black with black, right down the middle. And then when you start doing doubles, like you've already done green with red, over here, green with red. So try to make a different green with red. Maybe this one looks more reddish, make one that's more greenish. Sorry about that, hit the stand. So we're going to go all the way to the end. Then this very last row, I'm going to call this clear, but it really means more water. So hang on just a second while I go get some clean water. So over here, as I said, this is kind of like represents clear, which is the water. The way you make lighter colors with watercolor is not by adding white. You notice there's no white in our set. The set has no white in it at all. But we add more water to get a lighter shade. So here's red that's pretty thick. So let's take a little bit of red, put it on the plate, and let's add a bunch of water. Water it way down. Now let's put it over here. So this is red with water. You can even write water right there. You see how it's lighter? It's not really pink, but it's a more see-through red. So let's try orange. Just take a tiniest little bit of orange and let's put it on the plate and add some water. Look at that. It's really light. And then you could take a little bit more on the tip of your brush and just put it in there. We're going to learn more about this mixing water in this stuff later. Yellow, take a teeny little poke and then mix it with a bunch of water, or a dip of water. Not a bunch, but a dip of water. And there's really pale yellow. You almost can't see it, it's so pale. All right, so you can do that the rest of the way down with your other colors. Draw your brush, pick up a teeny tip of green, put it on your plate, add a little bit of water, and there you go. So this is how you get lighter colors with watercolor. We'll put water right there. It's the secret ingredient. Little tippy tip of blue, add it to the plate, put some water with it. Is that showing up in the video? Yes, it is. And there's a really light blue. It's not the baby blue, but it is a kind of a thinner, waterier look of blue. So you're going to go the rest of the way down and do the other colors that way also. And then you'll be turning this in on Friday. Perhaps you could put your name up here in this corner. So that it's going to be a wonderful collection of colors. I want to see these, but I'm going to let you keep them after you're done, because then if you really want kind of like a plum purple, like this one right here, you can look at your chart and say, oh, I see how to make that. And a million other shades in between. I hope you enjoyed your first lesson in watercolor. Bye.